distance. I spotted this pretty lady coming. Missing a waffle.
Right, so here we have all the ingredients. We have the curry powder, basmati rice, oil, fresh tomatoes, sweet peppers, seasonings, and we have some some chicken breast. These are all the things that I'll be using today to make the jellof in my own special style, which is called the Fosu jellof. We also have ginger and the garlic in the corner there. What I will do first of all, is to just chop everything up, have everything diced and sliced, and so there's the chicken, the onions, garlic. I also have a Scotch bonnet pepper for later, and then I've chopped up the sweet peppers and the tomatoes. The ginger as well is there, so everything's prepared. The chicken will be going into the oven. I won't be frying it today, and so yeah, that's just everything laid out and prepared for what I'll be doing next. I just like to have everything organized and just set out. Just makes things a lot easier, especially if you're trying to do other things. If you've got everything in order in one place, it just makes things a lot more simple. Yeah, so that's how I would start off. I'd also get the blender down to prepare to start blending stuff. The first thing that I would blend would be the onions, but before I do that, I'll probably put the oil onto the fire just to heat up the oil in preparation. And in the meantime, I would just blend the onions. When I blend the onions, I also put in just a couple of drops of oil as well, just to put a bit of a kick in there. So yeah, I just blend the onions, red onions in this instance, and I just put a few drops of oil in there. In the meantime, I've put the oil on. Once it gets hot, I just put in a few bay leaves, just for some flavour. So I keep that on there just as it heats up. So I will be frying the bay leaf, but I'll remove it before I add the onions. So the bay leaves are there just to add some flavor. It's just something I do. I don't know if it helps, if it works, if it adds flavor, but that's what I do. I remove the bay leaves until later on in the process. So those will be put to the side, and yeah, it just gently cooks, gently fries in there, and I do like the flavor, the scent it gives off. But as I said, I do remove this before I continue with anything else, so the leaves don't remain there. They just stay in the oil as it warms up. The next thing I will add will be the onions. So I remove the bay leaves, then I add the onions that I've just blended into the pan with the fire. So yeah, so as I do that, I just stir it with usually a wooden spoon, but I just stir that with a wooden spoon. And because my fire is up quite high, I pretty much stand over it and have the wooden spoon and just keep stirring it, up until it becomes a paste, I would say. So that's my red onions. There was about 3 of them, I think. And if you can, in the meantime, you just start blending the sweet peppers while you're stirring that. But if it's too much to do at the same time, just concentrate on stirring the onions. But in the meantime, I usually just start blending the sweet peppers with the garlic and the ginger. But obviously I will be focusing on the onions, and as it becomes a paste and it's pretty much cooked, I add the tomato puree, and I love the smell when I add this. But yeah, so then I add the tomato puree, and I continue to stir it, both the onion and the puree at the same time. As I said, I love the smell this gives off, and I have the blended sweet peppers waiting for the next step. So there I am, just stirring up the tomato puree and onions. I think it's 3 onions that I chopped up into the blender, and yeah, that's the sweet peppers going on there. You add the sweet peppers to the puree and the onions, and you stir it. You keep stirring it. You just put the lid on the fire, and then the next step is to blend the tin tomatoes, and I blend it with the curry powder. I put both of them in the blender. So I just add the tin tomatoes and a touch of the curry powder, blend it, and once that's all blended and mixed, I also add the magi cubes to that, and I add it to the fire. I also add the bay leaves that I took out at the beginning, and I also add some sweet peppers that I keep to the side. So with the sweet peppers, there's usually 3 in a pack, and I chop them all up to blend, but I just keep a few pieces behind, and later on when the stew's going, I add the leaves and I add the sweet peppers. I find it just gives a bit of flavour to the stew. It's not something that everybody does, but I just do that. I find it just adds a bit of flavour. My husband told me that actually, that he just adds some sweet peppers to the stew just to add some flavour, and I just add the leaves that I um had in the beginning in the oil. So I just add them to the stew and I let that stew for a bit. Um, I love the smell as well of all this. So in the meantime, I have actually put the chicken in the oven. So the chicken has just been in the oven all this time while I've been preparing all this. And I just think it's healthier than frying chicken. I mean, I will do another video where I do fried chicken, but in this one, I'm just gonna just have it in the oven just to be healthy. And because it's the chicken breast that I've diced up, it just cooks really quickly, and it's just good to go. And so I have that ready, and doesn't take long. Usually by the time you've done everything else, it's ready. And then I just add that to the stew for flavor and also a bit of variety. So yeah, so then I just add that to the stew after it's been grilled in the oven. And I do want to say, high blood pressure, hypertension, stroke is an issue in the Black and Asian community, and I think for the Black community, we do need to look at our cooking techniques and where we can just be a bit healthier. So yeah, so that's my health health awareness part of the video. So yeah, so I just add all that to the stew and I stir it all up, and it smells really nice. And I don't add salt because I've added seasoning. I don't feel like I need to add salt. We've got the curry powder in there, everyday seasoning, the magi cubes. So I don't actually cook with salt. I don't think it's needed. And also, as I said before, in regards to the high blood pressure and hypertension, I think it's a good idea to keep an eye on that. So here I'm just adding the rice, the basmati rice. Obviously you gauge how much water you need. I know people like to have it in a variety of tastes. Some people might like their rice, their jellof a bit dry. Some people might like it, a bit softer than others. And so just gauge to how you like to have your jollof, however hard, however soft, dry, or however you want it. So that's the basmati that I've added to the stew. I do add some water, and to be honest, if I have any washing up, I just do that now while everything's just slowed down a bit. I just get the washing done, get things tidied up, out of the way. Yeah, so I just put that on the fire for a bit. And what I usually do as well is that I just cover it with cling film, because then I find that the rice just steams itself quite gently. Um, because you don't need lots of fire at this point. Things are slowing down, so I just cover it with cling film and add foil to that, and then just let it steam itself out, and keep checking on it, and adding water if needs be. But like I said, people have a variety of tastes and different ways they like their rice. So, just customize this part to your palate. Yep. So all the washing up should be done by now. Everything tidied up, things put away, and we're just waiting on the rice and stew to actually become jollof. I know lots of people do things differently. Maybe you can put in the comments below what you would do differently, or any tips, any corrections, what you feel I may need to do in future to just to improve on my techniques. But there's the cling film that I just used to cover the pot. Then I also cover the cling film with foil, and yeah, I'll just leave the rice to just steam itself, and I find that it doesn't take long to cook. Yeah, so that's it really. That's what I do. I just let it stay there for a long time. Can't really give you a time, you just gauge it in regards to how much rice you've used, how big the pot is, whether you like it hard or soft. So I'll just leave that to you to decide on. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It just stays on the fire for a while, and I'm able to get on um doing other things. If you have any sides that you'll be having with the jollof, you can probably just make them now, whether you're frying plantain or fish, or as I said before, fried chicken. You can do them all now because it's pretty much hands off until it's ready. There we have it, just the way I like it. And so that's ready. And yeah, as you can see, the leaves are still in there. I keep it in there just for the sake of flavor. And also the sweet peppers that I put in there, the chunky bits, they'll still be in there too. But yeah, so that's pretty much how I make my jollof. There's the Fosu jollof special, looking quite lonely. No sides at the moment, but in my future videos, I'll go through some sides that we can make together to have with the jollof according to your palate. Some people are vegetarian, or some people may like something different, maybe avocado, as I said before, fried plantain, fried chicken. But those are things that we can do another time. But yeah, so that's my video on Fosu jollof. Please like the video, leave any comments if you would like, subscribe and share. Thank you.
She's an African beauty, we believe, baby, I have to know fear. Mean to me, empire on the sand, you make a give a back to you. And come up for now, coffee,